Hey guys, it's Oliver.
And it's me, Jake. And today we'll be talking about Spellbreak. So, Spellbreak is something you probably haven't heard of, but it's a pretty fun game. It's a battle royale, but with a twist. Instead of using guns and everything like that, it's using magical powers, like ice powers, fire powers, air powers, earth powers, whatever you can name. And it's
Except for
really,
water.
really fun.
Except for water, they haven't added
Except
water.
for water, yes. Except for water. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool things there.
Basically, it's a completely different version of Battle Royale. It's kind of redesigns it. Me and Jake discovered it a couple, 2 or 3 months ago, I'd say, and it's a great game, and we think more people would like it if they discovered it. It's also free, just like a lot of other Battle Royales. Right? We think if people discovered it, they'd like to play it just as much as we would.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things than just any other regular battle royale. For instance, there's a lot of class gameplay that goes into it. So instead of just picking your character or anything, at the start of each game, you have to pick one of six gauntlets to be your starting gauntlet. Gauntlet is basically your power in that sense. So you can choose fire, or ice, or wind, or anything else that you think is good. Now, each of them have their different powers, so might want to choose carefully if you are good at like sniping people or just good at trying to just aimlessly shoot. So,
Exactly. And once you've picked that, then when you go into the game, you can find other gauntlets, which are your secondary one, anywhere around the map. Every gauntlet has like a main power, and then it has like an ultimate for the gauntlet kind of thing. And then you can pick up ruins, which are your like biggest ultimate, your biggest power of all. For instance, like invisibility, or there's a dash, or there's this Chronomaster thing, which is really cool because you can kind of activate it and then go into battle, and then it brings you right back to where you activated it. So you can kind of deke people out. There's all sorts of different types.
yeah, like Tracer from Overwatch, for instance, how she can just go super far away and then just teleport back to where she originated from. So
Exactly.
there's also the basic things about like battle royale, like there's heals and shields and everything. But then there's also some interesting things like you need to grab belts or amulets and everything to up your stats in game. So like if you were to have a belt, you can get more shield, for instance. Or if you want to get boots, you can travel faster, you can walk faster. So then there's also rifts that you can take. Like let's say you're stuck in the storm as they call it and you really can't get out. Well, there's these big triangle like glowing things that you can take and it will drop you right smack dab in the center of the circle. I think it's the next circle actually. So it's even better. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I really like
Well,
about it.
yes, it's really cool. We actually played it before they had those in, and the one thing that's really annoying is the ring moves super fast. You can't actually outrun it. It goes so fast. So thankfully they added those. So if you get stuck in there, they spawn like everywhere. You can find them pretty much any place if you just look.
Yeah. And then there's also a good thing because if you have a good rune as well, like a flight rune, you can easily escape it. But like if you have invisibility, I don't think you can fly fast with invisibility. So it's going to be a bit
Probably
difficult,
not.
and that's when the rifts come in clutch.
Exactly. So one big thing about the game as is like pretty much in any other wizard, like, anything in movies, except I think Harry Potter, but you've got like mana, which if you don't know what that is, that's basically how much power you have, kind of like energy kind of.
Yeah.
So if you fly or use your powers too much and you run out of mana, you have like a slight delay till it fills up again. It's like a second or something. If you grab amulets, your mana gets bigger, which is extremely important if, for instance, I main the wind class, and if you're wind, you need to have really good amulets because using your wind, you can travel really fast because you use the wind to push you places. And then there's also like every character has flight for a certain period of time for as long as your mana is there. You can just press X on your controller or spacebar if you're on PC, and you fly up for as long as you're pressing on it. But if you run out of mana, then you can't use your power, so you have to be careful on how you use it.
Yeah. That's a big thing. And then there's also in let's just talk a bit more about the classes as well, because there's a lot of
Yes.
cool things with these power-ups. So one thing for sure is that if you choose a specific class, like let's say the ice class, there will be something specific to what you chose than just picking it up. So
Yes.
for example, with the ice class, you can shoot your ice bow because that's what the ice class is. You shoot an ice bow, and it will have a trail of ice that you can just glide through like Frozen.
Exactly.
You can't get that normally when you just pick it up as your
Right.
secondary gauntlet. And same thing with the toxic. It will shoot like little pellets instead of just one big blob if you choose that as your class. And there's also by doing leveling up, you can unlock certain things for your class. Like let's say for fire, I know that if you have like a firewall or something, if you level up enough, you can fly through the firewall. Apparently, I saw that and it's really cool. I haven't
Wind
tried it
has
out yet,
something like
so
that. Like now that I've leveled up enough, I can use my tornado launch myself like really, really high, whereas other people get stuck in it.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. Then there's also combining spells. So that's something that comes in key.
Big thing in this
You can
game.
do many different things. So you have two different gauntlets, right? And you want to find different ways to kill your enemies. Well, that's what combining spells basically does. You
You
can
can also
do
do it with your enemies'
Yeah, you
spells.
could also do it with your enemies. So like let's say for instance Oliver, he's a wind main. He has a tornado and I have a fire gauntlet. I could shoot a fire pellet at it and it will turn into a fire tornado. Or if I'm electric, I can shoot an electricity bolt, it will turn into an electric tornado, and so on and so forth.
Exactly. Though there's only certain ones you can combine with certain ones. Let's say if you do like a lightning bolt, which is if you have an electric gauntlet, you have like a massive lightning thing that comes down, you can't combine that with anything else.
Yeah, so there's only like certain spells that you need to combine. So keep out for that.
There's also some things, for instance, like wind. If you have fire, you can put out the fire with the wind. So you can sometimes save yourself depending on what it is.
So why should you get Spellbreak? Well, I think the number one reason is because it's such a different game other than like Fortnite or Apex or everything. Apex has its own different thing. It's a class-based shooter and a battle royale. Fortnite, you can build in the battle royale. This, you don't use any guns, you don't use anything else like that. You use magic powers and you have to learn them very well, which I find is really something that I need to do.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but like now we can get wins all the time. It's not that hard of a game, but it's also not that easy. The one thing I find is that heals are a little hard to find. But if you have just enough, you can win pretty easily, and it's really fun.
Also, final rings are really
Yes, that's the hardest
terrible
part.
sometimes. You can have 14 people in a final ring and you have like no shields, no heals or anything, and you're trying to survive and it's not working for you at all. Your teammate keeps reviving you or you keep reviving your teammate, and in the end it just resolves with you dying, which I find that's the only unfair
They
advantage that I
should
don't like.
maybe fix just the last ring for sure. That's probably the hardest part to survive if there's especially a lot of people. If there aren't, then you could probably easily win the game. But it's a really great game to play with your friends. It's a lot of fun. And it's actually a great way to start off in a battle royale if you haven't played anything else because it still has the ring and the heals and the teammate factor and the reviving kind of thing, but without, well, it's not as violent or anything. It's with wizards and or witches depending on what skin you have. And it's a lot of fun to play with other people.
It's a very fun game overall. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Make sure to turn on well, I mean, you could turn on notifications if you want to, but you don't absolutely have to.
Thank you for watching and have a great day everyone.